Hello, my name is Aaron. I'm a current high school senior, and this past cycle, I applied to a lot of BSMD, BAMD, and BSDO programs, and they're also known as direct medical programs. And I want to give some more information about what these programs are. So I packed a lot of information within this video, so feel free to jump to different parts depending on what you need. Here's a quick list, I'll put it on screen here, of all the BSMD, BAMD, and BSDO programs I applied to and the results of all those applications. So what even is a BSMD program? Why am I making this video in the first place? Well, BSMD programs, or direct med programs, basically give you a combined acceptance to both an undergraduate school and a medical school during high school. And they come in three forms. A BSMD program, which combines a Bachelor's of Science with a medical doctor degree, a BMD program, which combines a Bachelor's of Arts and a medical doctor degree, and a BSDO program, which combines a Bachelor's of Science and Doctor of Osteopathic Medicine degree. Now, if you are interested in making your BSMD list, BSDO list, I linked a site where you can read more information on each individual program down below for both BSMD programs and BSDO programs. Now I'll talk about the main advantages of going to a BSMD program and why you should even apply to one. Well, they save you a lot of time. So sometimes BSMD programs are accelerated, meaning a typical pre-med going to med school has to take 4 years of undergrad and 4 years of the actual medical school. But in a BSMD program that is accelerated, they can actually shave off those undergraduate years so you can finish the med journey even earlier. On the website that I linked earlier, you can see the amount of years that each of these BSMD programs will take. And another advantage is lower GPA requirements. But as a typical pre-med, you would need to maintain a very high GPA to remain competitive enough for med school admissions. And that's like difficult. It's difficult. You're taking a lot of science coursework, and especially if you didn't have a good foundation of that, then you're gonna struggle and it's gonna be a lot of hard work. Another thing is the MCAT. So some of these programs exempt the MCAT fully, like the Union AMC program that I will be attending, and other programs require you to just get a lower score. Now, I think it's very advantageous for your personal life and mind that you don't have to study for the MCAT as much as like other pre-med peers, because you don't have to spend all that time. It's normally hundreds of hours, and you can instead use that time to do other things for personal growth. You also don't have to do like the scout work of pre-med, and it doesn't really get brought up enough, but every pre-med is trying to get research, every pre-med is trying to get shadowing, every pre-med is trying their hardest to get a beefy application to be competitive for these medical schools. And instead of having to do all of that, you can really just explore your interests during undergrad and have more time to do stuff that you wouldn't otherwise have done as a typical pre-med. And this is more of like a personal anecdote from me, because I am a California resident. And our big state schools, being UCLA and UC Berkeley, tend to like be really appealing for pre-med. And I want to kind of break this like idea that like UCLA and like UC Berkeley are really good pre-med schools for certain types of people. The reason is people that go to UCLA and UC Berkeley for pre-med, they're going from potentially very, very good high schools and very good like even private schools. In the state of California alone, you have places like the Bay Area, you have OC, you have San Diego, you have LA, that have really good quality education for some of these candidates. And so when they enter their pre-med journeys, they are just way ahead of the competition. So for me, I went to like a very just mid public high school, didn't have like the best like STEM education. So I had to do a lot of like studying myself. And I'm not saying anything's wrong with that. I don't want to like make fun of my like school or like home environment either. But um the reality is, like, people like me that go to UCLA or UC Berkeley for pre-med are just going to have a way more difficult time um being able to maintain that high GPA, like I established earlier, that pre-meds need, getting those opportunities. They're big state schools. So getting research is harder. And overall, just making the journey to medical school even harder. And just speaking from personal experience, there's been people in my life that are older than me that have gone to UCLA pre-med or UC Berkeley pre-med, and they either drop out of pre-med or have to take a significant amount of gap years to actually get to medical school. Now that's just my like personal like environment and like state that I live in. Other state schools are different. I know like UT Austin is really good for pre-med. I know like UNC Chapel Hill is really good for pre-med. I know like a lot of Florida schools are good for pre-med. So take what I say with a grain of salt. But if you're a California resident and you live like anywhere that's not like the Bay Area or OC, or even if you do live there and you don't go to a really competitive high school, I'm just gonna say right now that pre-med will be hard for you. So what do you need application-wise to be a competitive applicant for these types of programs? Now, if you want to see my stats, you can check my college decision reaction video. That's also linked in the description. I think maybe I'll put like a like an on-screen something there as well. But you need to have high stats. That's just a non-negotiable thing. You are getting admission to medical school, so you need to show that you are ready for the academic rigor of not only pre-med, but also in the future as a medical student. And in terms of stats that you should be aiming for, just aim for the top for GPA. Like 3.8 and higher, you're typically fine as long as you're taking a lot of AP, IB, college level coursework. Standardized testing wise, some people will say you need like a 1550 plus, 35 ACT plus. But unless you're aiming for very, very top BSMD programs, that's like typically not like really necessary. I just say like aim above 1500 for the SAT and aim above a 34 for the ACT. There's some like nuance to this with like BSDO programs. You can get a lower SAT or ACT score, but to be honest, just aim for the highest score you can. And when application season rolls around, if you have a higher score, you'll just be more competitive. ECs wise, or extracurriculars, there's three that I think are the most important that like every BSMD applicant needs in at least some capacity. The first is medical shadowing. Not only is this helpful for you deciding whether or not the medical profession is like a profession you actually want to enter, but it shows that you've showed that curiosity to see different fields and see a doctor's perspective each and every day. Now, I'd say aim for around like 50 hours. You can do different specialties, but even like sticking to like one specialty is fine as well. Research. Now, research can come in so many different forms. You can do independent research, you can do research in a lab, you can do research summer programs. But for research, there's like levels to this. So I think every BSMD applicant needs research in some capacity, but there's certain programs that emphasize research a lot more. For example, RPI's program, Rochester's program, require a lot more research to be competitive. Now, this could include like publishing papers, doing posters, or like working in like a same lab for like multiple years. But in general, you should just be aiming to show that curiosity with scientific research, show your inquiry skills, show your ability to have those lab skills, make conclusions, present your work, stuff like that. And for me, for these first two things, I did medical shadowing with a few different physicians across multiple specialties. And for research wise, I did both a research summer program at a T30 institution, as well as just some like personal research within my IB program with my internal assessments and extended essay and stuff. The third thing you need is hospital volunteering. Now, this could be in an actual like full-size hospital. It could be a nursing home. It could be even a local clinic. But you really need to show compassion and show empathy. And what do I mean by this? I'll just give my personal like anecdote and you can kind of apply to whatever situation you're in. I was an inpatient volunteer at my local hospital, and I made sure to like talk to as many patients as possible. And I think out of all of these three things, that was the like most solidifying reason of why I want to enter the field of medicine. I love like interacting with patients, talking with patients, and making them feel more comfortable. For a lot of these patients, like nurses and doctors give them like the diagnosis support, medical support in terms of like prescriptions, medications, but it's that like human interaction that they didn't get a lot of the time. So really try your hardest to foster those human connections in a medical setting. So what else? For ECs, I did a lot of leadership related stuff. So, for example, I led a Key Club division. I was the editor-in-chief of my school newspaper. I did Taekwondo, like assistant instructing. And I spent a lot of time doing these three extracurriculars as well, and really like honed in my leadership skills, being able to work with other people, work together, and get people motivated, you know? And I think just for you, when you're deciding your extracurriculars or you're deciding what to really focus on, your personal interests really do matter for this as well. You don't have to be like every other BSMD applicant where you focus solely on research or solely on volunteering or solely on medical shadowing. You can explore things inside like the field of STEM, outside of the field of STEM. For me, like I did a lot of music related activities because I love music. I love doing like musical performance, and I think it's just as helpful and helps you grow just as much as like these other things as well. Essay wise, be really creative with your essays. You want to show compassion, empathy, scientific curiosity, those things you need to show. But throw in a little spice in there. Later you'll see in one of my essays of how I kind of like implemented some of like my personal quirky interests into my essays. Another thing is rec letters. If you do research or shadowing and you're able to obtain a rec letter from that physician or from that researcher, that's great. It really like solidifies that extracurricular that you like wrote about earlier. Otherwise, just get recommendation letters from teachers you're really close with. Get one that's like STEM and one that's like more humanities. I know some programs do require some sort of physician or research rec letter, so try to get that if you can. One thing I do have to say with rec letters, this is kind of universal for like all college admissions, but you want to like get recommendation letters from teachers, professors, from researchers that know you and know your personality, know your leadership, know stuff about you. For me, I had my bio teacher and my history teacher write about like my curiosity and my inquiry. For my bio teacher, she was my advisor for Key Club, so she really saw my leadership like in action every week. In this portion of the video, I'll be explaining why I think I got into the Union AMC program, and I'll share one of my essays linked in the description. You can go take a read. But I think the main reason I got into Union Albany was my leadership. A lot of my extracurriculars, if not all of them, showed some kind of leadership capabilities, being able to bring people together. And my thought process as a leader, constantly having to like come up with solutions to problems and showing that in multiple different examples. I also showed that leadership during my Albany Medical College interview. Now, this is something I like haven't really mentioned in this like video that much, but the interview, if you manage to actually get one, is really a good space to talk about your experiences, because this is a human interaction. This is a human conversation that you're having with these people, with the submissions committee. So bring out that leadership, bring out those skills, bring out those experiences, and be able to talk about that if you manage to get a BSMD interview. Good luck to any future BSMD applicants. If you have any questions for me, if you need some help, feel free to leave any comments down below or DM me on Instagram. I'm happy to help.